I greet the people of Ambazonia this 10th day of February 2022 on our Amba history. Today is a lockdown announced by the federal government of Ambazonia. Tomorrow will be a final lockdown to reject all that La Republic has been trying to do. In our Amba history today, I want us to go to the Atlantic and pick up some of our very talented men and women to bless us with what God had put in their hearts for the people of the land. Shall we go down to the Atlantic zone? Please come in and tell us and bless our hearts with the blessings of God. That makes part of our history, the beauty of the history of the Ambazonian people. In whatever language, in whatever culture, they had one DNA in them. And that DNA was to lift up their hands to the Almighty God who blessed our land with so much resources that these people who sold themselves over to the devil out of jealousy, because that is the mastermind of Satan, they came in and they did what they did. But then let's go over and listen to this wonderful deal that God blessed our people. Just listen to these youths.
Mananga yotele matu ye kanyambimba anga mutasisa lewa
bato asango ya wase manya kisane 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 bato asango ya
osa emateme nai osa ole amuna sema nyolo
The only thing I can understand there Asango means God. That is the beauty of the Atlantic zone of Ambazonia. I want to tell Ambazonians that we are blessed all round. I just remember coming off from the Savannah zone, but now let's go over to the Midland zone. I want you to hear and note the beauty from the Midland zone. This will tell you that we are unique in the diversity of what God our Father is doing to us. But before I get over there, let me bring to you another Atlantic zone masterpiece for the Ambazonian people to know that God did not forget and not forgotten us. You've seen the beauty, the natural soil that, God gave to the people of Ambazonia and categorized them into different zones. And they are all thanking God. And we are so blessed that these jealous people came in to bring a divide and rule. Let's walk over to the Midland zone. The Midland zone is so peculiar in everything that depicts Ambazonia. You see, God put us in between La Republic of Cameroon and Nigeria, and our cultures are very different. Our looks, our mannerism is very different, which means that God is unique. Somebody made a statement a few days ago. You may have identical twins that look the same, of which I do have. My in-law happened to have been an identical twin. But what I notice is that their fingerprints are different. Oh yes, their fingerprints are different. And that's the way God has made every Ambazonian to look. Let's get over to the Midland zone and get them come into praise.
Smart. Muniting fanje. Usari maribo. Wose se ku Joseph Urabwe. 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 Wose se ku Joseph Urabwe.
Thank you very much. That is from the savannah, from the Midland zone, showing you that Ambazonia is a land that has its history, written and unwritten, but replicated. Let me go ahead and bring to you, still from the Midland zone. Remember, I just came off the Atlantic zone, and then I went over to the Midland zone. Maybe some of you still want to know what's going on in the Savannah zone, but I have been giving you tidbits from the Savannah zone. But now let's get this last piece from the Midland zone, And I'm going to bring to you a documentary. I call it a documentary from an observation, which is actually current events that have turned into our history. When we read about Ali Baba and the 40 thieves, we read it as if it is a myth and if it is a fiction, just to keep people sit down and watch. But I want to tell you that as far as the Ambazonian quest for its total freedom is concerned, we have a lot of people who have sided with the devil to play every wicked part with La Republique to kind of put us back into bondage. And we know the politics of La Republique is to blackmail one of theirs, and we think that he's blackmailing. Meanwhile, it is just a game plan. They have discussed at the back and tell themselves, we'll come out there, insult you, curse you out, but take it easy. That's how it should go. That is exactly the mechanism La Republique is trying to use now to deceive the very simple Ambazonian people and deceive the world that their henchman is working contrary to them. Meanwhile, they know the plans they have. Behind the doors, like it happened in 1959, they have signed private accords, and when they come out here, they try to play us the double game. And above all, knowing what France is all about, go to all the territories in Africa that are occupied by France. Their leaders have never voted. They made a choice. And if you are a boy to the end, 100%, like Paul Beato Chirac, that he was 100% a student of France, they will keep him there until, even when he's dead, he will still be there. Paul Biya went to America and proved that he did not even know where he was. He doesn't know himself. Every day he's signing decrees. Can you see the deception? And the youths of La Republique are murmuring and dying in silence. I think that the French hegemony that is ruling and reigning in Africa, the youth of this 21st century should arise and say enough is enough and fight for the posterity that's coming behind. Because if you don't do, you will live in slavery and die in slavery. We, the Ambazonians, we have decided to leave the slavery hold of La Republique, and we are now free people. That's why our president announced that we are number 55 nation of Africa, and the AU should recognize us, give us a seat in their union, and the United Nations should recognize us and give us our seat in the union. That's all we want. We're not talking any grammar or anything with them. No, that is who we are. We have declared ourselves, and we don't care whether you believe it or not. We want to encourage our restoration fighters, you and us together. We will deal with the Republic of Cameroon, and they will go out of that land. Let the poor French people, Francophones, send their children to be killed in that place. The unfortunate thing is that because the ill-trained and manipulated scout boys of La Republique, called military, they vent their anger and venom on the innocent people. Yesterday, or a few days ago in Dop, they still went around burning houses. After about 29 of them have been carried out of the vicinities of Ambazonia. I'm told some of them tried to go to Akwaya, where there's another fire burning, to carry their dead. The helicopter could not land in the place on 2 attempts. I think we should get ready now to bring down that only helicopter that they have. I will see what's going to happen with them. Ambazonians, get ready and bring down that rubbish. It should not fly above our airspace. Yes, they should not. All right, now let's go back to, I've not forgotten, we are still in the Midland zone. Let's get this from Midland and then we'll be done. That is it from the Midland zone. And when La Republic sees this, our diversity, our culture, our praising God in a different way, they are very mad. And that's why they want to steal everything from us. Unfortunately, when they do that, they will not be able to get our culture because this is given to us by God. And we are happy with what God has given to us. Happy with our land, happy with our culture, happy with our system, and happy with our brotherhood in Ambazonia. But La Republic came in with fragmentation. And over the years, they have been trying their best. Now, I'm going to leave the studios with these gentlemen, and I'm going to put on the studios for you to, first of all, see them. It is actually a video, but I'm going to put it on the in the studio, and then I'll come back to make it play. And I want you to listen to every detail that is going to be said in this particular program. If you look at it very well, you will see the Ali Babas. I told you they are Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. But these four actually represent Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. In fact, they are Ali Baba and they are the 40 thieves. So if you multiply 10 by each, you know that they are the real criminals that have been doing everything to dissuade us from going to Ambazonian. They have played their games. Now, remember I told you, when we come to our Amba history, we want to tell the history as it occurs. If you are doing good, we'll tell the people of Ambazonia, you are for their good. If you are doing wicked, and your language is the only part that is talking good to Ambazonians, we'll let the Ambazonians see the hidden side of you. Like I told you that over the years, France has been handpicking a number of people that they can remote control for the interest of their well-being in their country. That is in France. But look at these faces. I'm sure you know at least all of them. If you don't know, that is the other guy from Biafra. But look at Akwanga. Look at the Ayaba. And of course, Baakuru. And of course, you have Yerima, who is standing for La République Kondengi Junta. All these four were handpicked by La République through Dion Ngute, organized by France to impose on the people of Ambazonia to be their leaders. Ambazonians, listen. I know everybody knows here that Ayaba has not been working for Ambazonia for anything. And of course, the rest of them have found a business, and that's to feed on the blood of the Ambazonians. I will not say much. As a historian, I have listened, I have watched, and I want you to listen and watch as well. I have watched. Now, these people, the way they live for here, native people them. Yes, me can just tell you, native people them. Where they don't impose themselves, say they be the leaders of Ambazonia. I will not say Ambazonia from the word go, former British Southern Cameroons, they will devote their leaders, and the leaders will be accountable to them. Since when we start this fight, Muna asked this Ali Baba and the 40 thieves, made them give way account of way to way they don't ever receive from Ambazonians, and way to way they don't ever do for way to way they don't receive from the people of Ambazonia. I beg Muna just be a little bit patient. I go play the whole documentary because it comes also from investigation of the people, from the people of Ambazonia, for no way to way it go on. Now let's listen.
So this letter is a cover-up. Thank you for joining me on Esteemed Television, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Augustine Amba. I have a very short video here which I want to make because of a document that somebody forwarded to me. And I want to thank the people who get some critical information and share it with me. I really appreciate that. It is through collaboration, sharing information, that we become knowledgeable about what's going on. And I want to tell you that because of that kind of sharing, because of what we've been able to do with our androids, because of what the kids on the ground and the fighters on the ground, the students on the ground have done with their androids, we have been able to tell our own story. we haven't allowed the French to tell our story. Because one of the reasons why Gbagbo lost in Ivory Coast is because they did not take control of the narrative. They did not take control of telling their own story. And so the French, in collaboration with international Western media, defined what the problem was in Ivory Coast. And they defined it as Gbagbo clinging to power. Yeah, at that time you heard Gbagbo clinging to power. BBC, Gbagbo clinging to power. CNN, everybody. But we defined the story, we defined our own story in this Ambazonian case. And so the French have gone silent. They've gone silent. And we've done it through using Android. You know, I was talking to an African American friend of mine, and I said, you know, the death of George Floyd has really changed the world. He looked at me and said, no. What has changed the world is the Android phone. Is this phone. Because there have been more people that died the way George Floyd died. Even worse. But the world did not react the same. But the people who filmed that and showed the world with their Android phones, that's what changed the world. It's not the death of George Floyd. The same as the killings in Ambazonia have always been there since 1961, since the French brought their war to us, and since the world, the UN and the British gave our sovereignty to the French. They've been killing us. They've been trying to assimilate us, and like I always say, you cannot assimilate without destroying what is already there. But the phone started telling our story. They started telling the story about police pulling kids at the University of Boya, rubbing them in mud, beating students left and right, carrying a big stick, murdering people in Bamenda when they're peacefully marching. That told our story to the world, and the world looked at it and said, that's wrong. La Republique tried to stop that by cutting off internet. Obviously, they didn't win at that. And since then, every other thing they've tried, they've failed. Because we've been able to tell our story. We've been able to tell our story. Now, one of the stories that they're trying to tell now, and I will tell you why they're trying to tell that story, but let me read you what somebody forwarded to me. So this is a
I'm going to tell you the easiest way to make money at home, and you 100% have never heard of this before. So most people are familiar with things like drop shipping, affiliate marketing, or selling physical products on Amazon. All of those were great when they first came out, but now there are too many sharks in the ocean. Plus, most of those need inventory and complex websites. But the big secret is you don't need those things. This new Amazon system, it allowed me to teach Jane, a stay-at-home mom, a new way to earn online. Now, what's crazy is Jane was a single mom trying to support her kids off food stamps. And now, thanks to this new Amazon method, Jane earns about $60K a month. Now, that number sounds shocking, but Jane is not the only one. So you see, you don't have to go find customers because Amazon has found them for you. So my name's Carla Marie, and my students have made millions selling ebooks that they didn't even write. A process that's completely outsourced, and once up and running takes about an hour a day. Like Roy here, he's made $2.3 million and gets to surf and play golf every day. Or Rachel, she was finally able to quit her corporate job because she's earning $60K a month. Or Sean, because Amazon has found them for you. Here, she's making $5K a month and English isn't even her first language. Or Dana here, who made over $900 in just one day. So So there's a ton of info I want to share with you, but I can only show you so much on this ad. So I've put together a free workshop where I'll show you exactly how statutes.
Sorry for that impasse. Sorry very much for that impasse. Please, we will be getting back that advert that came in there to distort what we were listening. Let's go back to the program, please. Sorry.
It says the permanent mission of the Republic of Cameroon to the United Nations presents its complement to the permanent and observer mission to the organization. And following the assassination on the night of 18th to 19th January 2023 of heads of branch of Elections Cameroon in Momo and Jakiri in the northwest region of Cameroon, subsequent to the watchword of terrorist leader Ayabacho Lucas asking to target the organizers and candidates for the next senatorial election scheduled for March 12, 2023, has the honor to bring to their attention, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Cameroon, its concerns, its strong indignation and protest against the freedom accorded to this terrorist leader in Norway, his country of residence, as well as other terrorists residing in friendly countries, to continue committing crimes and atrocities in Cameroon with complete impunity. These actors, entrepreneurs of war and destabilization, and their supporters lurking in the shadows, who pull the strings for their own interests and for unacknowledged ends, are still working to hinder the dynamics of peace resulting from the major national dialogue, whose recommendations, implementation, are actively pursued in the field, thanks to the actions of the government and other national actors, as well as the support of international partners. To consolidate these notable developments towards a lasting solution to the socio-political situation in the northwest and southwest regions, in accordance with the permanent will of the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, and that almost unanimously of Cameroonians and Republican institutions, the government of the Republic of Cameroon relies on the firm support of its bilateral and multilateral partners not to give in to this path of violence, blackmail, and escalation. It thanks them for their constant support and knows it can count on their continuous support in building a peaceful, united, and prosperous Cameroon, which is resolutely turned towards its emergence in the wake of the Africa we want, advocated by the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, by our National Development Strategy, and by the African Union Vision for 2063. In this regard, the permanent mission would like to note and appreciate the recent legal proceedings initiated by a friendly country, the United States of America, against its citizens involved in the financing of terrorism in the aforementioned regions, and expects major actions from its other partners to follow this path. Cameroon, therefore, demands that all those involved in the actions of destabilization and violence in its northwest and southwest regions be identified and punished, and that all their sources of funding be dried up. The permanent mission of the Republic of Cameroon to the United Nations avail itself of this opportunity to renew to the permanent and observer missions to the United Nations the assurance of its highest considerations. Okay, so that was written. It was written this January. I think.
What would you do if you knew a heart attack was coming? Joe Barton here, and if you're over 40, check your chest for these 2 heart attack early warning signs that I'm going to show you right now in this video. I'll also show you a top doctor's
Sorry
discovery.
once again for that impasse. Yeah, we picked it up, but we'll still go ahead to give you the conclusion of the whole matter, because some of these things are not what we are supposed to play here. All right, we just get this. Let's go back.
To cover up Cho Ayaba's collaboration with La République du Cameroon so that he should not be rejected by the Ambazonian people.
That impasse, yeah, we picked it up, but we still go ahead to give you the conclusion of the whole matter, because some of these things are not what we are supposed
So they don't want you to reject Cho Ayaba as a member of our fighting forces. They want us to consider him as one of us so they can continue to use him in situations like in Canada, in sabotaging on the ground and things like that to undermine our liberation. That's basically what it is. You know, if they really meant for Cho Ayaba to be arrested, they would have written to the government of the to the Norwegian government, to the Norwegian security authority to take care of him. Okay. So when they write it to the permanent mission, so when the letter comes from the permanent mission of Cameroon at the UN, written to other permanent members of the UN, they're not serious, because there's no action that takes place in that permanent. But they want this document out. They want it out so they can use it, and then they publish it so that we can see it. And like, oh, Cho Ayaba is in trouble. No, Cho Ayaba is in no trouble. It's in no trouble. He's their collaborator. And let me say something about, and you don't only have to see that he is their collaborator in his prominence in Canada. Let me just talk about Canada before I even go to some other areas to point out how he works for La République. Okay. Obviously, CDN is the Cameroon agent that has rallied all these people. Talked to Cho Ayaba in Europe. The pictures of Atem working with him. But when they went to Canada, I've already said he was very powerful in Canada. And by the time they went to Canada, they had already agreed on what will be decided in Canada. Okay. When they here's what my understanding is of what they agreed. You've heard of confidence building measures in Canada. Those confidence building measures included, just listen to this. They included bringing all the generals, all the Amba generals to Bamenda. Including bringing all the Amba generals to Bamenda. What do you think will happen to them if they came to Bamenda? Tell me what will happen if La République see all these people together under their control. Because when you're in Bamenda, you're under their control. They'll either kill all of them, or they arrest them and go to Kundengi, and that will be the end of. And they believe that will be the end of the struggle. So that's one of the confidence building measures that Cho Ayaba agreed that should happen. Cho Ayaba, Akwanka, Jomba Akuro, all those people who La République selected to go to Canada, they agreed on that. Another thing they agreed was that all the refugees will return. So when you bring all the generals to Bamenda, You return all the refugees. The struggle is ended, right? Because they're trying to accomplish what they call normalcy. What is our normalcy? A colonial status where even the U.S. says that they're not treating us fairly, and they said this in 1968, and that if they don't fix it, we will be where we are today, and we are where the U.S. predicted that we'll be. And don't forget what Ambassador Peter Ballerin said in Yaoundé.
The government has committed summary executions. They are guilty of detaining.
Well, we will continue to have some. Oh, sorry. This is.
Even to visits from the Red Cross, they have been guilty of burning villages and looting and of general harassment of the population.
Would you be interested in collecting 5-figure paychecks for a few hours of work, helping me in your spare time from home? I'm on a mission to recover $10 million within the next 12 months to American patriots that...
Well, sorry, I interrupted. I think I was interrupting the right person.
What does La République do in return as their own confidence building measure? What they offered was they will return their troops to the barracks, to the multiple other barracks that they have built in Ambazonia since the start of their war on Ambazonians. And these multiple barracks also meant that they've brought in more of their poorly trained child molesting, killing soldiers to our land. Now, that does not only mean that their troops will still remain in our land, because if they had offered that we will pull our troops back to our own country across the Mongo and Matazam, we'll say, yeah, you know, that's something. But when we say they are troops, we don't just mean they are B. They are police, they are gendarmes, they are wadas, they are district officers. All of those are military people. They're all military. The place is ruled by the gun. There's no dialogue. They don't even have courts where you can go and lay your case. No, they don't. Everything is controlled by Paul Biya. And with the French, they usually say you are personally responsible. So Cameroon, Paul Biya is personally responsible for Cameroon to the French. And if he doesn't do his job, he's gone. You know, it was decided in 1944 in Libreville that they will pick the leaders who will be imposed in these Francophone countries who they refuse to give them independence. You know, this whole thing about decolonization started at the Atlantic Charter. And the word, I think it was self-government. The French said they will impose these leaders, and these leaders will earn their spurs by the people going to them for their needs, because that will be the only authority that will be in the place. And through that, they will earn their spurs and become the legitimate leaders who they then control. But with all of this, the only independence African colonies will have will be the independence of France. Not my words. Just go read the history, is there written. We've talked about the cooperation agreements on this channel. Go look for that tape, watch it. We made it easy, we read it for you. So all these killing machines, all these hungry, poorly paid troops that they have brought in the form of in the form of police, in the form of gendarmes, in the form of prison guards, custom officers. They're all in our territory, and if the only way La République can say yes, we'll be secured, is to pull all of this across the Mongo, then we know that there's a confidence building situation there, and then we can start the dialogue. Is that what they offered? No. They'll keep the troops in the barracks they have built, and who they can bring out at the snap of a finger. That's what Cho Ayaba, Akwanka, Jomba Akuro, what's the other gentleman's name? Yerima. That's what they all agreed. All organized and coached and well prepared by CDN. That's what happened in Canada. You know, there have been many people, many Ambazonians who have earned their money, earned their power by riding on the backs of Ambazonians. By riding on the backs of Ambazonians. They offer themselves to be used by La République to placard our participation in their system. No, there's only one man who controls that system, is Paul Biya, and the rest are answerable to him. And when it comes to Anglophones or to Ambazonians, what they do is they give a position, but there's no power. The frontier actually says that these people have no problem paying you a lot of money doing nothing. He knows, because when he was the vice president, he had no portfolio. He did nothing. But all the money that they gave to him was just given. I have a tape by Dr. Monzo where he said when Paul Biya was the prime minister of Cameroon, he was next in line to get power in Cameroon. When that office came to Achidi Achu, they took out all the power and gave it to the different secretaries that surround the prime minister, and the prime minister had no power. And you know, they don't only play on us, they play on the international community also. You see, Diongute is there, they call him the prime minister, head of government. They always add that head of government there. You can tell when these people are lying, because they overdo the thing. And then you wonder, why are they overdoing this? He's the prime minister, head of government, when they know for a fact that he is not the head of government. But because they want everybody to believe that he's head of government, they always add that head of government there. And they wonder, when you think of prime minister, you should be thinking of a British prime minister, an Australian prime minister, a New Zealand prime minister. That's what they want you to think of. And so you see the Ngoles, the Atanganjis, the Ngutes, all of them, they have, including John Frundi, they all have their positions because they offer themselves to be used to play both Ambazonians and the international community. That, oh, they are not a colony. Look at them. Look at the prime minister, head of government. Look at the minister of territorial administration. I was listening to a tape by Michel Bienton. He said there were 87 Anglophones that were in the military that were not trusted. They liquidated them. So when you see these people traveling free, dancing all around, that's because they have been totally emasculated and they just use them for whatever purpose. And they have not a word to say. And that's why most of the time you see Ngole running his mouth, in foreign medias, acting like he's a free man, but he's completely emasculated. Let him not do that job, and you see what will happen to him. So that's what La Republique was offering, and we had our people lined up.
Say, did you know protein may be the cause of your arthritis and chronic joint pain? Yeah. My whole life, I thought protein was good for me. The truth is, not all protein is good protein. A major health breakthrough reveals a specific protein actually triggers arthritis pain. Health experts believe this discovery could be the answer to ending chronic joint pain and arthritis flare-ups. In fact, 9 out of 10 Americans are exposed to this protein every day, even vegans. It's so serious, researchers are now calling it the joint
Thank you very much, brother, for that report and for that connection where you give for we concerning this Alibaba and the 40 thieves. We know say at the end of the day, these criminals, they go pay for their crimes in Ambazonia. Let's go back.
So this letter is a cover-up. It's a cover-up. It's a protection of Chuayaba, to make him look like, oh, he's a terrorist, but does not want harm to him. They don't want him to be picked up. They don't want anything bad happening to him because he has an important role to play for them. I'll tell you another thing where you know that Chuayaba is a Cameroon agent. You know, Mr. Ndangam used to, and I've told you this story before, Mr. Augustine Ndangam in Kasbambili taught us that you know a character by what they say, what they do, and what other people say about them. Okay? So, Chuayaba organizes an international press conference and lets the whole world to come and see that he, Chuayaba, AGOFC, obviously ADF, that they are now forming an alliance with Biafra. Remember that in the last show, I told you that there were two organizations, there were two groupings that La Republique sees as people that can empower Ambazonia. One is Nigeria and then the diaspora. What a beautiful way to make Nigeria hate Ambazonia, to make Nigeria hate the Ambazonian War of Liberation, than form an alliance with Biafra. If you're going to form an alliance with Biafra, do you need to go and make a worldwide announcement? You see, the use of these worldwide announcements is to accomplish other goals other than what they tell you they are trying to accomplish. Okay? Obviously, there's no alliance that can be formed between Biafra and Ambazonia. One of the things you know about Biafra, the Igbo land itself now, is that all the other parts that joined to form Biafra, that has a boundary with Ambazonia, those parts rejected. They don't want to be part of Biafra anymore. And so if there was a Biafra thing, it would just be in the Igbo lands, and they have no boundary with Ambazonia. So this thing about Biafra is you don't go and it's like saying Abuja, that ADF or AGOFC forms an alliance with Abuja. To do what? It's just talk. There can be no alliance. And that talk is to create enmity between Ambazonia and Nigeria. And yes, there's a price to pay, because we've heard audios on how the lives of refugees in Nigeria has become difficult.
Good morning, civil society, brothers and sisters. I want to send me this audio so for Ayabacho. This one was sent for una, so I don't move on because of the identity for the place where I dey. Before they go, the guard there are people they can't pick me for Saturday. Mauna thank me, Mr. Ayabacho, very much for what we don't do for the refugees. We don't make who they run, all the leaders that they run for Nigeria. Now the video that I sent for una way they don't talk Nigerian government now be open. It be open, say they get for track we all for them. Any person, any leader. Me I run for security. I run for security. I hold flag for inside Nigeria. I hold Ambazonian flag for inside Nigeria. Now me this I run. I run for my dear life, live my 6 years child and my husband. Ayabacho, thank you so much. I don't know who say you come out. Thank you. If you want to get alliance with that man, you forget him for back. If you get clean motive, you want think before everyone can do and why you know even things say we did for inside Nigeria, you know ever think of you. Papa, you come out go make alliance. Now you this one suffer they run up and down. Who don't stand for help me? How many bags of gari, how many bags of rice you don't send them for refugees them? How many way you don't send them? You go tell me say your boys they did it. Your boys they did it. They be the key. The key now. They be the key now. The same. The key now was same our boys them. Thank you so much. How you don't destabilize these fights. What one blame you? People will carry their mouth them. Big mouth, the people talk nonsense and rubbish because they don't know how to survive this side. I don't leave my husband and my 6 years old child. Who will take care for them? Now me this I don't be at a run. Who don't stand for help me? Who don't stand for help me? Who don't stand? If you know, if you say I get man like homeboy, who don't stand for help me? Now me I don't be stranded. Who stand for help me? I thank you so much. I send this audio for you. I thank you so much for the refugees that suffer so because of you.
Because of that pronouncement by Chuayaba and his AGOVC and ADF. I was looking for a name to characterize them, but let's just call them by what they want to call themselves. Now, having said that, any other organization knowing this information and knowing that Chuayaba has gone out and announced this, and they still continue to collaborate with Chuayaba, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. When CDN goes to bring Chuayaba in the struggle, if CDN really say that they are an Ambazonian organization, which they are not, if they wanted to say that, if they say that, they have no pretense of going to recruit somebody who has said they are forming an alliance with Nigeria, with Biafra. Any legitimate Ambazonian organization fighting for the liberation of Ambazonia ought to see Chuayaba and AGOVC for what they are. They are not in this struggle for us. They are there for themselves and in collaboration with the government of La Republique du Cameroon against Ambazonia.
Okay, this is going to sound a little nuts, but the fastest and easiest way to make passive online income on Amazon.
A letter of congratulations from President Trump for the 20th of May coming up to International Day, and I shared the letter with the president.
Now, there's another thing that this letter also talked about, which even Paul Biya himself has talked about. Somehow they have it in their mind that the United States is supporting them in their colonial occupation of Ambazonia. No, the United States is not. The United States has a one Cameroon policy. What does that mean? It simply means that for its own interest, for its both local and worldwide interest, it is more expedient for them to support the one Cameroon idea because it's supporting a French colony. There's no doubt that Cameroon is It's a French colony.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is at this juncture and here that we'll come to the end of this program. We shall be bringing to you more on our Amba history as the days go on. Meanwhile, don't go away. Stay tuned and wait for the Ambazonian woman, the horizon. God bless the people of Ambazonia. Bye.